If you run a pig farm, not every female pig in your farm should be allowed to give birth. There are some female pigs that are just meant for slaughter. They are just meant for meat purposes. While there are some others that are meant for breeding purposes. Now, what are the signs that a female pig is not or should not be used for breeding? For example, these guys we are seeing here, these two pigs here, they were just weaned recently. Now, there are certain signs that I saw in them before I used them for breeding. So, one of the very first signs that should tell you that a pig is not good for breeding purposes is poor conversion rates. If a pig struggles to convert feed to fat, you have this female pig is always eating, but is not adding weight the way you want. That is a sign that you should not use this pig to breed in your farm, because most likely it will also give birth to animals that have poor conversion rates, because pigs will give birth to what resembles them. A pig that can gain 100 kg in 6 months will not give birth to a pig that will gain 50 kg in 6 months. No, it will also give birth to pigs that can gain weight very fast like her. So this is why it's important that you know the kind of pigs you are using for breeding in your farm. This is why I always say, if you have about 20 female pigs, select the best 10 from that 20 female pigs and dispose the remaining 10. Because if you use all those 20 pigs for breeding purposes, most likely some of them might give birth to pigs that will not convert well. So you have to choose the best. Except you're starting your farm like newly, then you can use all the females you have at your disposal to multiply your farm as fast as possible. But assuming you have enough females already, just always select the best. Select the best. And before you know it, you will have the right genetics in your farm, because those good ones will give birth to good pigs too. So this is one thing you must do to ensure that you are always having the best of breeds in your farm. Now, the next sign that you should not use that pig for breeding is when it has physical deformities. If a pig has something like hernia, these swellings, don't use it for breeding, because most likely it will also give birth to pigs that will end up having those hernias too, that will end up having those physical deformities. Or you have a pig that has bow leg, or you have a pig that just have some kind of dislocation, and just anything that has to do with deformity, physical deformity. Don't use that pig for breeding, because they will end up giving birth to pigs that will also resemble them. Yes, a pig that has physical deformities most likely will give birth to also pigs that have deformities too, because most of those things come from their genetics makings. So as long as it's in their genetics, they'll transfer it to their kids, they'll transfer it to their piglets. So this is why you should never use these pigs for breeding purposes. The third one is aggressiveness. Any pig that is showing signs of aggressiveness is the wrong pig to use for breeding. Because how you know that a pig may likely attack her piglets as time goes on, or when she gives birth, is she's aggressive. Pigs that are very aggressive, they love to fight, they love to basically disturb everywhere. Any little thing, they will attack their fellow pigs. They're always restless. They're always jumping from one pen to the other. Those pigs will only end up causing havoc. And when they give birth, they will only get worse, because they will transfer that aggression even to their children. So the best thing you can do is simply sell off these animals for slaughter purposes. Don't use them for breeding, because they will end up attacking their children. And even if they raise their children successfully, most likely their children, that's the piglets, will also inherit some of those characteristics of their mother, which means you will end up having many aggressive pigs on your farm. And I'm very sure that nobody wants that. All what you need in your farm are calm pigs that will do their job very well, which is giving birth, producing, and of course, raising their children very well. So these are the things that you must ensure that you put in place before you allow that pig to breed or to give birth. The fourth sign you should not use that pig for breeding is when it doesn't have up to 12 teats. Now, the teats of a pig is very, very important when you consider the ability of the piglets to breastfeed. Because when piglets are not breastfeeding well, most likely their growth rates will be very, very poor. So you must ensure that a pig that you want to use for breeding has 12 teats. That's 6 on each side, because pigs have on one side you see some set of nipples, on the other side you see another set of nipples. That's 6 6. So if that pig doesn't have up to 12 nipples, most likely it's not good for breeding. Here on the farm, I always make sure that the pigs I use for breeding purposes have at least 12 nipples, so that it will be enough for the pigs, for the piglets, once they give birth, so that all the piglets can have a uniform growth. Unlike when you see one growing very fast and the other ones are lagging behind. And that is how, and when pigs have had a poor growth rate when they were with their mother, as time goes on, they will also have poor growth rates when you wean them. So you must ensure that the pigs have a fast growth rate even when they are with their mother. And one of the easiest ways to ensure this is that their mother have at least 12 nipples on her body. So these are the things you must ensure to make sure that your pigs grow well. So if you see any of these 4 things I've mentioned in a pig, in a female pig, most likely that female pig is not good to be used for breeding.